Hi there and welcome back to the channel. I'm Panty Plays History and we're back with another video looking at the ancient Celtic Britons and the Brigantes tribe while playing some roots of Pacha. Hope everyone is comfy where they are while we get started. The Brigantes were an ancient Briton who in pre-Roman times controlled the largest section of what would become northern England. The territory, often referred to as Brigantia, is centred in what is today's Yorkshire, although the Greek geographer Ptolemy named another tribe Brigantes in Ireland as well, where they could be found around what is now Wexford, Kilkenny and Waterford. There was also actually another tribe found in Europe mentioned by Strabo as a tribe belonging to the Vindelici, also called the Briganti, in the region of the Alps in modern-day Bavaria. Within Britain, the territory which the Brigantes inhabited was bordered by that of four other people: the Carvetti in the northwest, the Parizzi to the east, and to the south the Corotawi and the Cornuai. To the north was the territory of the Votadini, who straddled the present-day border between England and Scotland. There are no written records of the Brigantes before the Roman conquest of Britain. Like most Celts, they preferred to pass on their history verbally rather than in written accounts, so it's hard to assess how long they actually existed as an entity prior to this point. Most key archaeological sites in the region seem to show continued, undisturbed occupation from an early date, so their rise to power may have been gradual rather than a sudden, dramatic conquest. It is also believed that it may be linked to the burning of the large hill fort at Castle Hill in Huddersfield, which was about 430 BC. Territorially, they were the largest tribe in Britain. The Brigantes encompassed sub-tribes as well as septs, such as the Gabrantovices on the Yorkshire coast and the Textoverdi in the upper valley of the River South Tyne near Hadrian's Wall. During the Roman invasion, in 47 AD, the governor of Britain, Publius Austerius Scapula, was forced to abandon his campaign against the Deca Angli of North Wales because of disaffection among the Brigantes, whose leaders had been allies of Rome. A few of those who had taken up arms were killed and the rest were pardoned. In 51, the defeated resistance leader Caractacus sought sanctuary with the Brigantian queen Catamundua, but in fact, Catamundua had betrayed Caractacus to the Romans, thus depriving Celtic Britain of its most influential and steadfast resistance leader. It was also a fairly typical act for the Celts, who could never stop fighting amongst themselves long enough to mount a serious obstacle to the Roman advances into England. Catamundua had cause to be grateful to her Roman allies. In AD 57, her husband Venetuus tried to seize power, but the Romans put down the rebellion. The couple did sort out their marriage issues for a time and ruled jointly until 69 AD, when Catamundua ended up deserting her husband for his armour-bearer, Volodicus. Although she eventually fled Brigantian territory and was never heard from again during the next uprising. In 73 AD, the governor Petulus Cerullius invaded and defeated Venetus. But continued unrest led to Agricola finally annexing the Brigantes territory for good in 79 AD. Isurium, which is near Ripon today in Aldeborough, emerged as the administrative centre of the Brigantes territory, though there's no evidence to suggest any settlement there prior to the Roman invasion. But even after all this, the Brigantes were still not finished. In 138 AD, when you would think that by this point in the timeline they had been thoroughly Romanized, they had rebelled against Emperor Antonius, who was attempting to push north from Hadrian's Wall into Brigante territory in modern Scotland. The Romans under Lollius Ubicus quickly put down the revolt. In 154 AD, the Brigantes rebelled yet again with similar results. As punishment, the Brigantes suffered the loss of their territories, which were subsequently broken up and dissolved into Roman Britain. Roman forts in the Pennines were reoccupied, much likely as part of the process of denying the Brigantes their original territory. It could be at this point in time that the Civitas Carvatorum is formed out of northwestern Brigantes territory, with a capital at Lugavelium, which is modern-day Carlisle. This could also be the period in which the local British tribes in the vicinity of Leeds, or Lloydis at the time, started to detach themselves from the Brigantes and formed an alliance with the Romans, who had always found it more convenient to rule by alliances with local chiefs. It is these Lloydis Britons who we believe later emerged as the Elmetians. There was a tower and fort at Ravenscar, built from the ground up, almost certainly as part of the rebuilding of Britain and the restoration of the army following the barbarian conspiracy of 367. According to an inscription there, the Magister Vindicanus is responsible, but it is unclear whether the inscription refers to original construction or its later rebuilding at this time in the territory. During the later part of the 4th century, the Roman military command in northern Britain gradually evolves into a Celtic military structure, presumably under the aegis of the figure known as Coil Hen. Encompassing much of the Brigantes territory, this military structure apparently emerges as the Kingdom of Northern Britain, which was governed by Ubric. As the military command evolves into a Celtic royalty, the kingdom soon breaks up into separate territories again, which eventually include Bernacha, Caergwendelu, denoting Elmet, Reged, and the Pennines. And that takes us to the end of the Brigantes here in England. They were effectively disbanded and scattered after their lands were taken away from them, and most likely integrated into other tribes, or became part of the new society being established around them. Because of the size of this tribe, there is more known about them because they did cause a lot more trouble, although not nearly as much as the Kenny with their revolt. And thank you so much for watching the video. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel. I have my Twitter where I post history facts, and as always, if you have something you'd like to see on a future video, please leave a comment down below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!